People are always talking about great actors or serious actors, but no one really talks about fun actors. By that, I mean actors that'll take a job for a good time, aren't too precious about the roles they get, are willing to step outside their comfort zone, and will do movies that aren't meant to be taken too seriously. Matt Damon is the trifecta though. He's a great, serious, and fun actor.
It's hunting season. Applesauce.
You almost always have a good time with a Matt Damon movie, no matter what it is. This makes sense when you consider that Matt Damon, as well as his best friend Ben Affleck, got their start in Hollywood thanks to Kevin Smith of Clerks and Mallrats fame. And if there's one thing Kevin Smith knows, it's how to have a good time. Sure, they had movies before Smith was in the picture, but those were extra and supporting roles. Smith would give Affleck his break in Chasing Amy as a leading actor, but that movie also gave Damon and Affleck the chance to get the screenplay for Good Will Hunting to Smith, who liked it and got disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein to buy it. It's why Smith is an executive producer on the movie. No Kevin Smith, no Good Will Hunting. They would even offer him the chance to direct it, but Smith declined and said that they needed a better director. This was a make or break moment for the pair, who were on the verge of losing the movie entirely due to contractual reasons. In case you think that I might be hyping Smith's role in this, Damon even said, quote, "Kevin also saved Good Will Hunting. This is not a small side note. He is the reason Good Will Hunting got made. We were dead in the water, all the offers had evaporated," end quote. Good Will Hunting was their most important movie at that point, and it would turn them into Academy Award winners in their mid-20s. Before Good Will Hunting, Steven Spielberg cast Matt Damon in a little movie called Saving Private Ryan because he wanted an unknown actor as the titular Ryan. By the time it came out, Damon was no longer little known. At this point, Damon could have done any movie that he wanted. He had 2 blockbuster hits on his hands, after all. But instead of choosing another big-budget blowout, he and Affleck chose to make the fun movie, Kevin Smith's 1999 masterpiece, Dogma, where they play Bartleby and Loki, a pair of fallen angels who want to get back to heaven. The movie had a budget of $10 million and made its money back, but that neglects its cultural influence. It's the reason that you see Buddy Christ everywhere, after all. Even if it was a favor for their friend, that would only prove the point, that Matt Damon is a good dude and a fun actor. A fun actor with range, that is. The same year he was getting into religious hijinks with Affleck and Smith, he played con artist and murderer Tom Ripley in the psychological thriller The Talented Mr. Ripley, a critical and commercial success. He wasn't immune to duds, of course. Movies like The Legend of Bagger Vance certainly proved that. In 2001, he had a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I want to pause for a second to say that Damon does a lot of cameos, more than a dozen of note. There are little fun surprises for fans of the actor. In 2001, he also starred in one of the funnest movies ever made, Ocean's 11, which is also one of the few times that a reboot is better than the original. He played Linus Caldwell, a pickpocket, and reprised the role twice to critical and commercial success. One thing is undeniable when you look at his filmography. The guy is a workhorse, pumping out films like no tomorrow. Most years, he has at least 1 or 2 releases, often more. Part of being a fun actor is taking on a variety of roles, which he does. He's impossible to typecast. Comedy, drama, action, adventure, thriller, sci-fi, Damon does it all. There are movies with Matt Damon, but there are no Matt Damon movies, like there are De Niro or Pacino or Harrison Ford movies. People associate those actors very closely with a specific type of film. Damon is a chameleon, slipping in and out of roles with seemingly little effort. In 2002, he was in the Bourne Identity, which all but embedded him in the A-list. It proved that he could carry a franchise by himself, and the success of the sequels would continue to prove that. In 2004, he was in Bourne Supremacy and Ocean's 12, which has one of the best lines in any movie.
Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face, stars to fill my dreams. I am a traveler in both time and space, to be where I have been.
In 2005, he and Heath Ledger starred in The Brothers Grimm, and the same year he also starred alongside George Clooney in Syriana. In 2006, he was in Martin Scorsese's The Departed, which isn't just one of the best movies ever made, but is a standout performance for every actor that participated in it. In 2007, he returned for The Bourne Ultimatum and Ocean's 13, and in 2008 provided an English dub for Ponyo, one of many animated movies that he's done. Damon's not precious about the kinds of roles that he takes on. He's not, say, Tom Cruise, who would never do an animated movie or TV role. No, Damon's just enjoying what comes his way. Being in the industry for 20 years, you would think that he would hit a rough patch. Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith did, and both of them were seeded from the scene for a few years. Not Matt Damon. He's been consistent his entire career and usually has a solid movie almost every year. The 2010s even have some of his best work thus far. 2010 had True Grit, directed by the Coen brothers. 2011 had Contagion, the Steven Soderbergh directed movie about a pandemic, and We Bought a Zoo, directed by Cameron Crowe. In 2013, he had Behind the Candelabra and Elysium. He made a surprise showing in 2014's Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan, and starred in 2015's The Martian, one of the best movies of the decade and one of Ridley Scott's finest. In 2017, he was in Downsizing. In 2019, he was in Ford v Ferrari. And 2021, he was in The Last Duel, which he and Affleck helped write and was directed by Ridley Scott yet again. In 2023, he starred in Air, again with Ben Affleck, though for the first time, also directed by him. And most recently, he was in Oppenheimer, another phenomenal performance. Damon has several roles lined up, and considering he recently opened up a production studio with BFF Ben Affleck, one thing is certain. We'll be getting a lot more Matt Damon in the future. That's a good thing for all of us.